This is Pro Series Off Topic.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Pro Series Off Topic. This is episode number 3. If you are new here, this episode is a branch off of my Pro Series podcast, which is more of an interview-based and a professional level. This is another podcast form that is just talking about any other topic off of the professional space, entrepreneur space, whatever you want to call it. I have so many other hobbies and likes that I have in my life that I wanted to talk about. One being country music, and then also being social media, all these different things. And so there's really no boundary for topic on this podcast. It comes out weekly, usually on the weekend. There's much shorter episodes. So let's start out. So episode 3, we're going to talk about 2 different topics. One topic being Instagram stories. Get a lot of questions on these. Should they be doing them? What should you be posting? Why you should be posting? So I'll dive into that later in the episode. But I want to start with Country Music Weekly. Me being a huge country music fan, this is something that I just love listening to country music podcasts. And I'll shout them out in here. So if you like country music, definitely go and take a listen to them. But first, coming in on Country Music Weekly, I want to talk about the Luke Combs World Tour recap from last week. He was here in Pittsburgh, which I went to go see at Acrisure Stadium, where the Steelers play, if you're not familiar with Pittsburgh. So it's a huge stadium. It was his biggest audience to date, 61,000 fans, which is insane to be a part of that. It was a great tour. I was able to see Lainey Wilson, Riley Green, and Luke Combs. I didn't see the first 2. And maybe I was coming in on the one. I can't really remember because you could hear them when you're walking up the rotunda, but you can't really understand what they're saying. It's a bunch of mumbles at that point. So Lainey Wilson, insane. She's going. I'm saying this right now. She will be an entertainer of the year for the CMAs or ACMs one day. She is so lively on stage. Her voice sounds amazing. It sounds great. Maybe even better than the record. She just really gets the audience in. The best way to describe her is she's getting to the level of what Kenny or Garth or Carrie or any of those singers that really just are energetic on stage and are really big entertainers. So she has a huge future in country music. I don't know what happened there. So Riley Green, great. He probably sounds better than he does on records, but he is one of those artists that they kind of sit and stand there while they sing, which is totally fine. Just a different type of show. And same with Luke Combs. He kind of just walked around, but he sounds probably even better than he does on his albums. He's just an insane singer. His voice is it blows you away with how powerful it is. And he just kept going. He barely took breaks. He just kept singing. So if you have not seen Luke Combs' World Tour yet, and they're coming to your town, definitely go check it out. Coming in at number 2 for Country Music Weekly is Megan Moroney's debut album, Lucky, came out Friday. Great album. I think it's probably one of the best debut albums that I've heard in the past, probably 5 or 6 years. I can't even tell you what the last one is. That's how long it has been since the debut album has been this good. You might know her from her hit single Tennessee Orange, which is in the top 10 on the Mediabase country chart right now. It's great. Some great contenders from that album is her first track, I'm Not Pretty. She kind of wrote from her ex's new girlfriend liked one of her posts back in 2016, and she wrote a song about it. It's pretty cool. She's a really good songwriter. As you know, she sings Tennessee Orange, which is climbing up the charts. Another song, Trader Joe, is a good one. Why Johnny? But Mustang or Me is probably one of my best ones. That she's talking about a heartbreak, but is the car going to break down while she's going home, or is she going to break down? So, really cool album. Definitely check that out. And then Morgan Wallen. We can't get away from talking about Morgan Wallen every week because I feel like he's breaking a new record every single week. And this week he is number 1 on the country airplay chart on Billboard. That's just one of the country charts. We'll talk about the Mediabase country radio chart next. But yeah, his song "Last Night" tops the country airplay chart, and it's the fastest flight to number one since 2015, which was Luke Bryan beating at that time with his song "Strip It Down." Morgan Wallen is absolutely killing it right now. If you move over to the media country radio chart, he is number two right now with that same song. But he has two singles in the top 10 on the Mediabase country radio chart. Last Night being number two, and then number 10 being One Thing at a Time, his title track to his album, which is insane. And then I saw, usually when a song goes number one, these artists usually sit it out for a little bit as they'll see if it continues to stay on number one, or they'll release another song, which you think he would probably just sit it out because One Thing at a Time is coming up there. It's going to be, he's probably going to have two number ones on the media chart in the next month and a half. So maybe just wait until release another one. No. He released another one off of his 36 song album that he released back in March. He's releasing "Thinking About Me," which is a fan favorite. It's hard to pick. I don't know how he picks a song out of those 36 songs, because that album was a no skip album in my opinion. I listened to it start to finish. Probably, I don't even want to see the analytics on that from my Apple Music. I've listened to that album so much. That's definitely a good song. It's hard to say which song is a good song for the singles, because he could release all 36 and have 36 number ones with them, honestly. But yeah, so number one on the media country airplay chart right now is Parker McCollum, "Handle on You." Great song. I'm a huge Parker McCollum fan. His last album, Blue Chain Cowboys, was another non-skip album for me. But his new album, Never Enough, is coming out May 12th, which is going to be, I'm excited about. The songs that he has released so far have been really, really good. So he's on pace again to probably be another no-skip album from me. But yeah, so going back to Megan Moroney, she's number 9 right now with Tennessee Orange, which she is the only female in the top 10 of the country media radio chart. So that's insane. Last week there was none. But yeah, so country music is a love of mine. I always love talking about it. And every week, on Fridays, all music comes out. Usually the first thing I do when I wake up is I download all the new country music. I go on Apple Music and just download everything. And this week we had some good ones. The first one we'll talk about is Kimberly Perry. You might know her as the main singer on the band Perry. She had a band with her brothers. It's kind of hard 10, 15 years ago to remember that they were a huge band in country music. And their very, very, very first song that broke a bunch of records, not just in country music, but on popular radio, is If I Die Young. This new EP she's releasing in June is called Bloom. And the first debut single off of her solo career is If I Die Young Part 2. I know you're probably thinking just like she's trying to play off of that and try to win people over, but this song is so good. The chorus of the song is the same as the original, but the rest of the song is not. The first song was kind of dark. This is a new breath of new fresh air with this song. It's more lively. It's a great song. It's a great rendition. It's just another way to sing If I Die Young, and another take on If I Die Young. Definitely go check that out. I think that will do amazing on country radio. It's very traditional in the way it's produced. And then a next artist I want to talk about is Teddy Swims. Not a country artist. I think he could be. I think some country artist needs to get him on a song because his voice is insane. I fell into a rabbit hole probably last summer on YouTube of covers that he does. And he does some country covers, a lot of like Shania Twain songs and stuff. And his voice is absolutely insane. He has a new song came out this week. It's a pop song, but what more can I say? definitely check that out. His voice is absolutely incredible. While you're there, check out Bet on Fire. He has a song with Ingrid Andress. Great song. Probably came out last summer or maybe the summer before. Luke Bryan also came out with a song called But I Got a Beer in My Hand. I've listened to it a couple times. I think it's going to take a little bit more to grow on me. It wasn't a song that I loved from the first, but I probably will. Luke Bryan doesn't really come out with any bad songs. It sounded more like the summer song, so it probably will do well. But listen to that again. Lucky by Megan Moroney, and that's really it for new music this week for country music that I thought stood out to me. So let's go into Instagram stories. This is something that I feel very passionate about when it comes to social media marketing. Instagram stories, if you don't know, they stay for 24 hours. So if you post something now, it will disappear in this time tomorrow. You're probably thinking, and then what's the point? And the point is you want to keep an active story, meaning that you want to keep within 24 hours, you want to keep the story going. That just shows, it's hard to post every single day your in-feed posts. And this stories allows for something to be posted and someone comes to your account and sees that you're active. So if you haven't had a post in like 4 to 5 days, maybe they're thinking, well, maybe you just gave up or you don't really care about the account. When you put a story in every single day, it shows that you're passionate about your account, you're passionate about growing, you're passionate about your followers. So continue to do this. I never let my story run dry. Maybe like it might come up an hour or so that I don't have a story, but I try not to. Sometimes you just get caught up and just kind of forget about it. But it's something that you really, really need to do. Instagram does do a great job with analytics. So if you go onto your story, click on it and swipe up, it will show you all the analytics from gender to age to exiting. Exiting means so as soon as someone clicks on it, it will stay on their screen for the duration that you, the user, puts on there. So if you put a story that only lasts 30 seconds, it will last 30 seconds on their part unless they tap on the screen to go to the next Instagram story. Don't pay attention to the exiting. It doesn't matter. They're seeing your story. That's all that matters. They see that you put a story. They see your name. That is marketing. Again, social media is a free marketing tool. Do it. Stories are just so simple. They don't need to be primed and polished. So just put a picture of your dog. Put a picture of whatever you do. You want to put some engaging stories as well. I do this a lot. I go on realtor.com and just find crazy houses that are for sale and have people guess what the price is on these houses. It's really cool to see. So they have a feature called Add Quiz, like a quiz. So you could do 3 or 4 options and there's a right answer. So it will tell you the right answer after they guess. So I'll do guess the listing price, guess how many bedrooms this house has or how many bathrooms this has. So that's one way to get them engaged. But you could also add a poll in 2 different ways. So you could do a yes, no. There's probably 2 options, and it will vote, and it'll tell them the percentage. So they see where they are at. So I do that a lot. Do you like the color of these kitchen cabinets? Yes or no. And once they press yes or no, it will tell you the percentage of everybody else that voted on that story. So that's a pretty cool way to get people engaging. But you could also do the very the original engagement on Instagram stories is that bar that you it's kind of hard to explain, but you know what I'm talking about when I say it. It's literally a bar and you drag it of how much you like it. So as long as you go to the end of the bar, that's what you like the most. Halfway, you're so. That's another way to do it. Instagram does a good job with stories and figuring out new ways to get people to engage with your story. So make sure you're adding stories. Another thing I do is shout outs. So if I see a cool design or marketing tip or whatever from another account, post it on my stories and make sure I tag them. They get the notification that I put them in my story. For the most part, people will put that in their story. So they're basically shouting out that you shout out them. Their followers will see that. They'll go into a deep dive onto your account or they'll just see your name. That is enough. Get another All you really want to do is get someone else to figure out your name. If it's not a follow, it might be a customer, whatever. It's exposure. Do it. So a lot of people won't want to shout out other people in their genre of whatever. If you're a designer posting out another designer's thing, just because of competition type of things, but just forget about that. If they have the audience that you want, that's all that matters. You want their audience. So don't be afraid to shout out other accounts. It's not a bad thing. Get out of that mindset, and just start posting more and more stories. Never let it run dry. That's my biggest thing on this Instagram stories topic. But let's end there. This is it for episode 3. We'll be back next week on more topics. In the meantime, message me on any topics that you think would be interesting to talk about. But I hope you have a great rest of the weekend, and I will talk to you next week.